Rhode Island Hockey's Hall of Fame Dave Capuano, former NHL player, joining us now on the Friday Night Sports Wrap to recap Game 3 of this Eastern Conference semifinal series between the Bruins and Islanders, and also preview Saturday's game in Game 4 in New York. All right, Cap, let's start with Game 3. Your initial takeaways from what was an exciting playoff hockey game in the Islanders' barn.
Yeah, I said before, I feel these games in Nassau Coliseum are kind of epic, right? I mean, you got a great crowd, one of the loudest buildings around, and you got two teams that play a lot alike. My takeaway was I think this Krejci line has added just another dimension to this team that is helping them immensely. I think Krejci's got 16 shots on goal, Taylor Hall maybe 10. I mean, it's not just the scoring, it's the momentum that they provide each and every shift, with another shift coming out and those guys feeling good about themselves.
This was typical Bruins, backs against the wall after a tough loss Game 2. The leadership said, we'll be fine, we have to flip the page. They do that, they turn and they win. And I thought it was interesting, the best players were the best players for the Bruins when they needed them most. Brad Marchand with the overtime winner, Tuukka Rask bailing them out time in and time again. What about the goalie impressed you most?
Well, Tuukka's just steady. I mean, I don't think anything bothers him back there. He plays his game. He's seeing the puck great, and that's kind of the way it's been. I think both goalies obviously were tremendous last night, and it all comes down to timely saves, right? We talk about goaltending, but it's more so a timely save, and Rask made the timely save in overtime, and unfortunately, the Islanders goalie didn't.
Off the top, you talked about the David Krejci line, that number 2 line. A big boost last night when Craig Smith was reinserted into the lineup. He missed Game 2 due to injury. He scores the first goal. And then a couple stats to take away. When that second line was out on the ice, they outshot the Islanders 10-0. And with Taylor Hall on the ice, it was 15-0 in over 16 and a half minutes. What does that second line mean to the Bruins now, especially if the first line is going to have an off night like they did last night?
Well, I mean, hockey's a game in and game out. I mean, you can't expect that top line to score every single game. It just doesn't work that way. I mean, you look at the guys that are out of the playoffs right now, McDavid, Ovi, Matthews. Hockey's a strange game, but you need two lines going, and that line has been consistently going all playoffs. I think, Taylor Hall has found this renewed, wanting to play attitude and playing both ends of the rink, and it's a great lift to Boston. It's a great attribute to Boston going out and getting him and having faith in him. But it means the world right now because they create these chances and they create the momentum on Boston's side. Even that third line comes out, and Coyle is playing with a lot of confidence right now too.
Bruins, when they went to the Stanley Cup final in 2019, had all 4 lines going at once. That really enabled them to make that deep run. Showing some signs of it now this year. But as far as the overtime game winner goes, I want to touch on that. How important is it to get pucks on net? We saw Brad Marchand barely had a sliver of daylight. He throws the puck on net, and the puck finds the back of the net after the Islanders had dominated the overtime period to that point.
Yeah, and it almost goes back to when the Bruins had those power plays and they couldn't buy a goal, and Varlamov kept the Islanders in it, and the momentum changes. Same thing with it comes down, Marchand throws one on net, and the coaches will always preach in the locker rooms between overtimes to make sure you get pucks to the net in overtimes, because that's what it's going to take to win a hockey game. And I know a lot of people said it was a great shot by Brad, but I'm pretty sure he was just throwing that on net, and the puck had eyes, right?
Exactly, and it found the top corner right there in between the crossbar and the post. Looking forward now to Game 4. Brandon Carlo is day-to-day. The defense has taken a hit here. The Bruins finishing the game with just 5 defensemen. What adjustments do they have to make going into Game 4? You've been in NHL locker rooms before. What are some of those tweaks that Bruce Cassidy is telling his team?
Well, we've been talking about this for a while with the playoffs of Boston. We talk about secondary scoring, and we've talked about, injuries. 2 of the main things that we talk about for a couple of years now. And I think, they're going to probably throw Tenorti in there would be my guess. But the key against those Islanders is to have those mobile defensemen. So, I think that Boston has that going for them right now. McAvoy's been a horse, right? 30 minutes again last night. We really haven't touched on him, but literally becoming the leader of that team. The momentum turned last night. Islanders are all over them. physically and who comes up with the big hit, it's Charlie McAvoy. He just seems to really be stepping his game up, and I'm so impressed with him, but also with, I think the preaching to the question you got to is that they want to activate those D, and those D were activated last night. You've seen Carlo in front of the net one time, Clifton in front of the net one time, so they're activating the D, and I think that's key. And I think they got to just keep going north and south, Maury. I think the minute they go east and west, can't turn the puck over to the Islanders. They don't have that much talent as the Bruins have, and you got to make them come 200 feet. And I think that's key for the Bruins to stick with that north and south way.
Game 4, 7:15, Nassau Coliseum Saturday night. If the Bees can win, they'll take a 3-1 series lead and bring it home to the Garden for a chance to close it Monday night. That's Dave Capuano here on the Friday Night Sports Wrap. We'll be right back.